This is the most on the spot you can possibly put anybody.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Dr. Bones Locker podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alden.
I'm Kai.
I'm Emerson.
I'm Ben, and we got a very special guest today. Very, very special.
Maybe the
Yes.
most special.
It is me, Jason Ball 34.
This is the comic strip. It's not.
That's so
this is a
exciting.
podcast where we talk about the daily comic strip by that guy, titled "A Pirate's Life." Today we got a 3-paneler featuring the Captain and Mr. Pine, and new character Lucy, ex-girlfriend of the Captain, new lore. And he says, "Look, it's an old girlfriend of mine. Hey Lucy, what happened to your diet?" And she cracks him right in the face, and he says, "Well, that's gonna leave a mark. I guess X marks the spot."
So, can we get a Peter explains the joke from Jason Ball 34, if you will?
Yeah, so the joke here is that the phrase X marks the spot is something that pirates may or may not say when referring to a treasure map, and a ex-girlfriend can be called an X, and if that X marks your face, it could be said that X marks the spot, and depending on your pre-existing opinion of puns, that is either funny or not funny.
And that's basically how Logic
That
Gates
basically
works.
wraps us up. Yeah.
Pretty much a Logic Gate, how it works.
I want to say that when I saw the X marks the spot thing, the punchline, I had completely forgotten that this comic was about pirates.
Yeah, I fully didn't get that part of the joke.
I really like the fact that, hey Lucy, what happened to your diet? Kind of implies that she got fat or something.
Yeah.
But it's a stick figure.
But it's a stick figure.
No,
This is
what happened in this
Yeah.
universe when you go off your diet is your hair gets straight.
Yep,
Oh.
there you go.
So did that skeleton that had straight hair die because they got fat?
It could be.
That is for up to. There's only one person who can decide that.
Also, what about the captain's dad, who has tiny little straight hairs coming off of his head?
Oh. I
that
mean,
doesn't mean he's a woman though. It's not long enough.
you say he's not
Could be
long
a hat.
enough? Oh, no hair.
Those are just 4 small hats.
This joke could have also been done with like, in an entirely worse way, mind you, with like a hickey. You could have done it with a
Oh,
hickey,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
with the mark being left.
Where do
That
you.
would have been.
But then you'd have to like force in a breakup scene too.
Oh,
Yeah.
also,
Would-
are you going to put the hickey
Oh,
on his
sorry.
neck?
I don't know.
yeah. Doesn't that require having a neck?
I mean, what do you call the section above shoulders, below head?
That's what you call it. Above shoulders, below head.
Above
I have a
shoulders,
question
below
for,
head.
for Jason Ball on the spot. What's in Lucy's bag?
That's a
Rick.
bucket.
Sorry, what did you say?
You
What did you say,
fool.
Jason?
Bricks.
Oh, bricks.
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
of course.
A classic.
Wow, that
Is she a
shows a
brick
lot
That
of
explains why she
restraint.
looks so heavy.
Oh.
That's why she's
It
able
also
to
shows a
leave
lot of
a
restraint.
mark.
Yeah.
Ah.
True.
She takes a brick out of the bag, smacks him across the face with it.
And it explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that
It might also. Her bag might just be full of spike balls.
Actually, the bricks probably got some crack on the inside, some crack cocaine.
Oh.
I thought you were
Or
going to
maybe
say.
it's just full of letters.
That-
And
I thought you were going to say her
Oh,
bag's
no.
just full of spiders.
Yeah, could be.
guys, or like maybe it's kind of like a bat but sideways.
I gotta admit, I like the camera work on this comic where we get a wide shot and we get a zoom in. I think we don't actually get that kind of camera work that often. Often we keep the same framing.
True.
Like just looking
We all
back.
know
real
how
quick.
difficult cinematography can be.
Yeah.
Like a drawing.
Heard she got married.
So
Well,
I have a question for Jason. What's your in general like what's your protocol for name creation? I know there was some ado made about the naming of like Anatoly. Is there any inspiration behind the Lucy joke here? Is it a Peanuts reference or is it just chosen at random?
Almonds, maybe?
Well, I was trying to think of old lady names because this takes place a long time ago. And
Lucille.
that was the first one I came up with.
All right.
Nice.
is that
We're
Uh,
Wait,
but-
actually, do you think
but
this
it
is?
could-
Is this allowed? Can we ask you when this takes place?
I mean, you can ask. Doesn't mean you'll get an answer.
That's true.
Aha.
Because it has been a point of contention.
Strong contention.
Strong contention.
Particularly in the early days.
Yeah, in the early
Yeah.
days when we were still trying to figure out exactly all the little bits of the little like minutia of when the comic takes place and where it takes place. We have a Google document somewhere detailing everything.
This debate
prob-
got so
probably
heated at
better
one
than
point.
mine.
Jacob, Lucy panel two'd me across the face during an altercation about
don't-
this comic. I just wanted to use Lucy panel 2 as a verb. Then don't contest me on this.
I'm gonna sandbag that one. Sorry.
So if we're done discussing things directly related to this comic, I'd say we give it a rate and then we continue on to the more general discussion.
Oh well,
Sure.
I do have one more thing.
Yes, of course.
Do we think that is a bruise on his face, or is that in the third panel, or is that his hands and fingers on his cheek?
Ooh.
Is this like a quiz?
Oh.
No, it's just.
Can you give us multiple choice? I guess you just did.
I think it's a hickey. I think she felt bad and made out with him.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a missing.
in
there's a
between.
missing third panel.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that's just the way that the captain smiles, is by frowning. He's actually really
Oh, he was
happy.
not happy about it.
No, he was.
Oh, God.
Whoa.
I'd give this one. This one's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going with Alden. I like 7.
Yeah, I like this
I
one.
like the joke.
I'm gonna
The
give it.
punchline is well delivered, and that's not a pun.
I'm gonna give it a 6 and risk my entire career.
I'm gonna
Give it
give
an
it a solid
8.
6.5.
Just to make
Ooh.
sure I see my career after this is over.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8.
He's
Yeah,
not even going for the 10.
I'm gonna give this one a modest 8.
Yeah, I've seen better.
What do you feel like your favorite the favorite one you've done so far is?
Well, he published Martini and Marhuge twice, so
That's true.
I'll have to think about that. I can't say off the top of my head.
It's a
I'm wondering. So we know that you have made comics as far back as like 10 years ago or something. What made you start this comic, and then what made you start doing it daily?
That's a good question. So what would happen was when I was a kid, when I was 10, 11, 12, my household, my parents would get the newspaper delivered daily, and I would always read the comics. And I really liked them. And then we stopped getting the newspaper because the internet. And but I still wanted to have like a newspaper around. So when I was a little kid, 12, I would make my own newspaper. I would write stuff about what had happened in the house, and I would like write it on binder paper, and I would include a comic because that's what newspapers had, and that was the comic. It was about pirates because I liked Pirates of the Caribbean, and then I did that for a bit, and then I stopped for years and years, and then just a couple of years ago, like a year or so ago, I was in college and I was bored, and I started doodling my old pirate characters again while during class, and I decided, hey, that's really fun, so I kept doing it, and now it is daily.
Cool.
That's deep lore. I also did the same thing, by the way, except my comic strip was called Car Wars. And back then I wasn't funny and I couldn't draw cars.
I had the same thing, but it was a direct derivative of Garfield and Heathcliff entitled
called
Heathfield.
Wait, what was it called? Jacob?
Heathfield.
Jason, but what would you say your favorite currently running comic strip is?
Ooh.
That's
Besides A
that's
Pirate's
e-
Life.
Yeah, yeah. Besides a pirate's life, I would say there's one called non sequitur. And
Dude, I
that's
just saw non sequitur in the Boston Globe the other day, and I was like, wait, this is still running? Like, I like it,
yeah,
but it's like it's
yeah.
weird.
I used to say it was Pearls, but Pearls has gotten bad. I would say it's gotten worse.
I kind of agree. I have like
Yeah.
a couple of the early Pearls anthologies on my shelf, and that's like the good stuff.
Yeah,
Ugh.
non sequitur's fun.
Non sequitur is fun. It's got
A
a
lot of-
main fisherman in it too, which
Yeah.
gives it bias in my opinion.
Big time bias.
Oh, you're the fishing expert, right?
Well,
Yeah.
fuck, is that my title?
One of them.
Yeah.
I'm also the main expert.
That's
So
One of five
Are
of
you?
them.
I'm a main expert.
Yeah, we're all from
Okay.
Maine. I don't know if you know that. We're gonna give our addresses on the
Yeah.
live podcast
You're-
right
you're
now.
all-
Matt
you're all
Boiling
from
ourselves.
We are all from the same place.
Yeah, same house.
That is
I
how
live
we
at-
know
We're
each other.
siblings.
I live at
That's-
No, I don't want to go through. No,
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Guy, you're the worst.
Might as well get a couple of Anna out while we're here.
No,
Wait, did you just say Anna?
could you?
Oh, that's what the bleeps are.
Yeah.
The
No.
and Jake is
If you would do the honors of saying the funny words, Jason, please.
Oh, you mean Anna?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You have no idea how much that means to us.
That one's going in a
What that means
folder.
to us.
Does she mark the spot?
She fucking does. Dude.
I don't know the rules.
I think she would mark the spot for any of us based on the last
I
time
can't-
that we
He's got a
interacted.
couple
You would mark
quotes
the
on our
spot
website,
Kai,
I think.
Kai,
Oh.
I have a
You have a question?
yeah. How long have the characters been named? Like we didn't know Mr. Pine's name. That was like it took us a while to figure that one out.
I think. Well, I started the modern version of this in middle of 2019. I didn't post it anywhere though. I was, just for myself, and I had them named from the beginning. But like it takes a bit for their names to show up in like conversation in the strip. But yeah, they've always had those names.
And the names haven't changed since like the previous iteration.
Oh no, they weren't named this when I was 12. Like when I was 12, they were there were like Lego Mega Bloks pirate toys that all had names, and like I named my characters after the Lego versions. But then when I made it a couple years ago, I made up my own names. So they're not what they were when I was 12, but they look the same.
So you name a character when you create it, like when you create them, like what Anatoly was always named Anatoly.
Oh, no. I mean like the principal characters. They were named from the start, but the side characters I come up with they don't always have names. If I bring them back a second time, or if I give them a hat, they will get they'll get a name.
Does the captain have a name? And will we ever know anything about that?
He does have a name, and I have been waiting for an opportunity to make a joke out of it. So I think it'll come out someday.
That's
How
good news.
did Mr. Pine get his name?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, we have to know.
They're named after their prominent traits.
Oh, wait, he's got a pinewood peg leg.
Oh, shit.
And Dexter has a dex?
Yeah, he has the Pokédex. He plays Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's yes.
So that what you just said back to the question, what about Dexter?
No, he dexts.
I take it you're not familiar with Greek and Latin root words. Shame on you.
No, man.
No,
You're
I got
not.
a shame on you
The-
from Jason Ball.
I've never
34.
typed Dexter etymology faster in my life.
The root word dext means like right hand, like ambidextrous.
Oh. Oh my god, that's the deep lore.
That is actually very good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very clever.
We're gonna have to put this part of the episode behind a paywall or something.
Yeah,
Why?
secrets revealed.
Because that's like actual that's
Secret's
school.
worth money.
This information's too dangerous.
Yeah,
Dangerous.
you're gonna have to put it behind a master class and charge $500 for it.
A pirate's
good
life in
idea.
deep lore.
We can always have it at steep discount, but
What?
still.
While we're on names, Pope Cactus.
Yeah, Pope
Ooh.
Cactus is dope.
Oh yeah.
Pope.
Oh,
don't-
well, he's actually a cactus. That's that one. I just thought it was funny, and
You were right.
There's no better reason, honestly.
Yeah,
yeah.
This-
you were correct.
And
Wait, so if the names have to do with traits, how did Dr. Bones get his name?
well, you see, Kai,
no, wait. That's a question for Jason.
Oh, it was. That's too bad because I don't have an answer.
What about Chef Luigi?
That's
Mama.
Is it
Close.
because he's from the video game Mario?
What are you talking about, Emerson?
Chef
Well,
Luigi.
It's because that is the only Italian name that exists.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Right.
sorry, I have one more name question. I'm gonna post a quick comic in chat of a man with a hat, and I want to know his name.
You just go through all of them, find an unnamed character with a hat.
It's a very specific man with a hat. I have to find it again. Sorry, chat amongst yourselves.
So
No.
Where
Alright.
is it?
Wait, here we go. All right. What's we're looking at the Abraham Lincoln man. What's that
oh,
guy's
I
name?
remember that.
Oh.
That's Abraham Lincoln.
All right, that
Oh.
narrows down our time frame. Excellent.
Yeah.
To the time that Abraham Lincoln did not yet have a beard.
But had a mustache.
Yeah.
Important.
Oh, is that not his nose?
That could just be his very large dog nose.
Dude,
Okay.
are your eyes open when you draw these?
I got another question. What's with the wheels
Oh yeah, on the coffin. On the
and
chairs
on
on the
most
coffin.
pieces
Yeah.
of furniture?
Well, the fun explanation is that they are all on a theater stage, and in every strip they have to roll different props out for furniture,
Wait.
and
That
makes
means
them
we
easier
could
to
make
move.
Do you give us permission to make a theatrical adaptation?
I hereby sign the rights over.
Yes.
What about
That's
video
gonna come
games?
in
Does that
handy.
include video games?
That will be on a case-by-case basis.
Uh-oh.
Okay. We won't
I
have
like
a
what Rare is
ready
doing.
anytime soon, so.
I don't believe you, Emerson.
We'll
Oh.
get back to you on that one.
So if the wheels are for staging, is that confirmation that this all takes place inside of a theater and these are all sets?
Does that mean this Abraham Lincoln's about to get assassinated?
I think it is like Super Mario Bros. 3. I don't know if you've played Super Mario
Right,
Bros.
right.
3.
Right.
Yeah.
It may or may not be.
Okay. Thanks.
I have a question.
The wheels, I think they just look nice.
Ah. But if they're on a ship, the wheels seem like they'd be inconvenient.
Oh, you'd think they'd like
Send
when
the
like when the ship tilts, all
Yeah.
the stuff would go flying.
I think if you had an
Yeah, like-
office chair on a ship, it'd be a nightmare.
Hmm.
We don't actually know that they're wheels, right? They could just be weights to hold down the.
Oh, like ball and
Yeah,
claw
that-
feet.
maybe that casket is just full of helium.
Yeah.
Also, most of the strips we don't know that they're on a ship.
That's true. except when it's explicitly shown. And
Yeah.
even then,
Even then, could be just on the land, and the land looks like the ocean.
Yeah,
Who
they could
knows?
just be like on a ship on land.
that's
Mm.
true.
That's possible.
They could be on land on a ship.
Oof.
Speaking of locations, do we perchance get any exposition from the author in regards to where in the world this is? We've speculated in the Jamaica Cuba area. We've speculated in the off the coast of the United States. We've speculated Spain. Is there any
I mean, there's a lot of English
That's true. Also that.
stuff.
Well, there was that one where their ship went down off the coast of Cuba,
Yep.
and I would say it's, reasonable to assume that they still operate in that area, the Caribbean Sea, coast of Florida, all that stuff that's over on the other side of the country and below it that I don't really know what it looks like unless I look at a map.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
Are you
so
ever gonna
they're
have any
they're
art?
British colonial.
But
Yes,
yeah,
there.
the
I would
Brits-
say
We're in
the
that
British do have some influence in the sea still.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So whenever the British Navy existed, which is I guess for 1,000 years. So this could be any time in 1,000 years.
Wow.
Wait.
Might be the whole thing. We don't know how old the captain is.
We got to take into account the Rorschach
yeah.
test.
I got one more very specific question. Do the comics take place in chronological order?
Ooh.
I would say yes.
Oh.
Ooh.
Very important.
Has there ever been like anything to suggest otherwise? I don't
I
remember.
don't really know.
I feel
No.
like we found something once, but it might have been very
I think
Irrelevant.
it's more for implications than it is for I don't think we found a plot hole, rather that sometimes we think, oh well, this happened and then this happened. So then we can imply things based on those comics.
based on the fact that something has already happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like this has definitely previously happened.
But
I have a
that may
question.
change someday. I might do a Pirate's Life episodes 1, 2, and 3, and take place before everything.
Ah.
Mm.
And then 7, 8,
With
and 9 that
episode
take place
episode
after.
2 being the greatest comic ever
Oh
made.
yeah, that would be the best one. Yes.
Will it have Dexter Jetster in it?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise, yeah.
Yeah.
Emerson,
What's
you
the
had a
name
question?
of your cat?
My cat?
Yeah.
What is your avatar?
Do you expect this man to
Oh.
dox his cat?
Yeah, I don't know if she's given consent to reveal her name.
Okay, fine.
Her name is Willow.
Oh,
Ooh, that's Ben's dog's
Second.
name.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
Uh-oh.
Well,
One of us is
Uh,
gonna have to
security
change.
number.
yeah, I guess it's mine now. give it back.
I have another comic related question, Emerson.
Hey, look, it might eventually be important. in
That's
the
true.
I got some Artemis Fowl questions after this.
Do you have a research process for your comic? Do you do any research frequently?
Sometimes I mostly operate off memory of what things look like and what things are like. But every single time I have to draw the British pound symbol, I have to look up what it looks like because I can't remember.
That's very reasonable.
I also sometimes I'll like look up the holiday, and if it only came into existence like in the past 50 years, I won't use it. If there's a holiday.
How long has Arbor Day been around?
Like 200 years, I think.
Wow.
It was like a Spanish mission thing. That was one that I did look up, and I went down a rabbit hole. I was like, wow, the Spanish missions were planting trees, and called it Arbor Day for like 200 years. But research usually, I mean, no, not really.
Mm.
I also definitely noticed you once used. I know you admitted to using a hippo that was traced straight out of Pearls Before Swine, but I also definitely noticed a frog at one point that was very clearly traced out of Pearls Before Swine.
Yeah, I think I put in the text that one came from. Yeah, if there's ever like a art reference, and I say art very generously, I'll put that in the caption on Twitter.
Yeah, I was not. That was not accusatory. That was
Oh yeah,
referential.
because if you told me to draw a frog, like you put a gun to my head and told me to draw a frog without a reference, I could not do it. So I have to copy past it sometimes with those things.
Gotcha.
And well, I don't. Do you consider that research, like how to draw a frog?
I
Yeah,
suppose.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you people are dissecting frogs in like
You
seventh
people.
grade science classes. Like this is obviously a more humane way of doing research, but come on now.
Come on now.
I like frog.
Thanks, Ben.
We aren't talking about today's comic on the podcast like fully yet. But is Mike Rowe not the name of the Dirty Jobs guy? Is that canon?
Today's comic?
Yeah.
What's today's comic?
Micro.
Micro.
Oh, Micro.
I heard a different word micro every time we said that.
Yeah, see, that's why the
That's
Joe
the
works. I give that one a 9 out of 10.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Mike
All right,
Rowe,
let's go down the spreadsheet.
Is that a thing, Mike Rowe?
Well,
Apparently that's the name of the guy in the Discovery show Dirty Jobs.
So
So
it
isn't
might
it
be a reference
not?
to that, but I don't know
Oh, it
because
is.
I got that from a friend.
Oh, it is, but
Someone
it's
said,
spelled differently.
Someone said, "Hey, name it Mike Rowe," and I said, "Okay." And I don't know.
Or
I
it's
don't know if
spelled
they-
differently, so we're good.
Oh, okay. I don't
It
know.
has
if
an
they
E at
knew.
the end.
Wait,
Oh,
no,
okay.
the other one
Has
just
a
has
W in the middle,
middle.
actually.
It looks like there
Oh,
is
like
a Michael
Russell.
Rowe, who is an American singer-songwriter
Ah,
and record producer
you-
and a member of the 77s.
This could have been a Russell Crowe joke.
I mean,
Could have been a micro joke.
Mike Rowe, of course, being the brother of Russell.
Oh God.
Uh,
I feel like that's a good episode there.
You wrapping it
I,
up?
feel like that.
want to get off. I want to get off the record here.
What
all
about
right.
Artemis?
Well,
We're off the books.
I would like to remind everybody.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to hear what's the story with the Venus comic?
Oh.
Oh,
That's a good story.
yeah. So Venus. I don't know what the story is. I think what it was I just thought it would be. I mean, I think it was for Ben Hagel of the Month, of course.
Uh-huh.
Which
Are you familiar
are
with
you
that?
familiar
Jason?
with that?
Yes, I am familiar with that.
Cool. Yeah, it was. I always don't put much effort into my Ben Hagels of the Month, and then this time I was like, you know what, this is gonna be cool, and so I thought it would just be a good basis for. I thought it would be. I think I don't remember who originally brainstormed it with me, but the idea of a comic reviewing the podcast, reviewing the comic was the original idea, and then we were like, let's not do a review. So in the end, it just ended up being this random person listening to a random piece of the podcast. And the idea is also, even though Venus hasn't run in weeks and weeks and weeks, it might just be because that person, the character, hasn't been listening to the podcast. So it's always a chance that they'll pick up the podcast again and get back on the comic. So
It
the
ended
story.
up being bizarrely existential. But
yeah.
that's kind of just
Yeah.
everything Emerson does. So
Yeah,
The funny
was
thing about it
great.
is that we were teased at it for a while. We have a spreadsheet where we list
Oh,
people that
yeah.
we want to have as guests.
hmm
And Emerson put Venus on it.
Did I?
And we were like, who's Venus? Is this like some guy Emerson knows that like we don't know? I think Jacob and I puzzled over it for like a couple days. How
That's-
do we categorize Venus?
I didn't even know that.
And then we found out.
So, are there other questions I'd like to give you, Jason, a chance to ask us any questions you might want to.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to talk about it, I mean, I'm wondering just like how this all like started, and why you started the podcast, and did you think it would go this far when you started it?
I think
So we have a rule where if we say something, we tend to do it. If it's at all, what do I say usually?
Feasible.
If it is
Feasible,
at all
possible.
Viable?
feasible, we do it. Not reasonable, but feasible.
You know how the first half of Artemis Fowl kind of has been
Yeah.
recreated in a shot for shot
Like we have a joke where we say don't say anything, because if we say something, we're probably gonna do it. So most of our like major creative stuff has been something we've said. It would be funny if we did, XYZ thing, and then we said, well, why
Yeah.
can't we?
But it was
It's not
it
going
was
to be fun
absolutely
or good, but we could do it. So I think
It-
one day oh no, what we had is we have a Twitter bot in our Discord server that posts tweets. Like whenever someone tweets,
No.
it posts it on the server. And we used to have it hooked up to Jacob's account, so we would know whenever Jacob tweeted. And then one day we were like, that's not like interesting. Let's change it to like Jason Ball 34's comic for fun.
no. I think the origination was
And then
when-
2 days into that, I said, I. What are you gonna say, Jacob?
I was gonna say the origination of it was the annual Dead meet and greet comic, which Ben sent and said, "Hey, look, because we were familiar with you because of the Artemis Fowl remake, and Ben posted the annual Dead meet and greet comic, and we thought it was hilarious, especially a hello hi." And so it was on the map, and then what happened later was
I think it was like 2 days into like having the bot posted in our Discord server every day.
Yeah.
I think I was on a Discord call with Jacob or something. And I
Yeah.
said it would be funny if we because we were talking about doing some kind of podcast for a while,
yeah
and I was like, it would be funny if we do a podcast where we review
yeah
Jason Ball 34's
Like,
comic.
oh, can we
And then
do it
we
every
spent
day?
over an hour coming up with the name,
and then half an hour composing the theme.
and then we spent 5 minutes recording the podcast.
and we then a few days later we're like, fuck Daily Bones Locker.
Oh.
Anyway, so that's the story of
and
how it got
that's-
started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, how Logic 8 works.
Great.
I didn't think it would be going this long.
I thought
I originally said let's get Jason Ball on at like episode 30, because I didn't think we'd make it that far.
and I wanted to push it because I wanted to take it as long as it could go. I mean I kind of felt once we started, I didn't see an ending. I mean I knew that theoretically we'd end it, we did or will end at some point. But I kind of didn't imagine an ending anytime soon at the beginning. But yeah, I it's just kind of day to day. It's become a part of my day to review there's the comic. Let's get in a Discord call and review it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like, we're taking a hiatus here, but
Yeah.
we're still going to be reading the comic every single day because I don't know what else to do with my life.
I will say the funniest thing ever is to explain this podcast to someone who's not familiar with anything we've ever done.
Yeah,
So you have to go so
Yep.
far back.
I
was like, well,
I start with don't say it. I start with well, we've got
Followed
this
by the
rule.
Artemis Fowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
by
To
Jason
get
Ball's
Artemis
comment.
Fowl, you kind of have to explain ASCII.
Well, yeah.
And Ben Hagel of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much.
It's all
writing.
interrelated.
Yeah, my mom follows my comic, and like she asked like, "What is this?" And like I had to explain the whole backstory of what this is.
Can we get your mom on the podcast? You don't have to answer.
Sure.
we would be delighted to have your mom on the podcast, assuming we come back after our short hiatus, which I will give information about again at the end of the podcast.
I can't believe. 2 weeks ago,
It's not butter.
I said I feel like I kind of want to stop doing the podcast, and Jacob said no.
I did notice Alden's just been gone for a couple
Yeah,
of weeks.
I've just been busier than normal. Like I started working a job and it has taken up my time around the middle of the day when normally we would do this kind of thing.
The same thing happened to me. I started a job when I worked during when we used to do the podcast. And then for some reason, as soon as I got the job, I did like 2 episodes in a row by myself.
Mm,
I had the
I
opposite
mean,
of Alden.
that doesn't require a lot of coordination, at least.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Jason, do you have any other questions for us before we wrap up this episode?
No, I just like to thank you guys, from the bottom of my heart for like putting out this thing every day. It's been, when I was before it came out, I was kind of feeling, I was kind of slowing down. I was like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to make it through the whole year. I might have to stop the comic. But then it's just this thing came out, and it was like this massive. I felt this surge of like creative energy because like it's like a positive feedback loop. Like I put this thing, I put the comic out, you put the podcast out, and it, I was greatly inspired and motivated to keep going with the comic because of you guys, and for the foreseeable future, I will keep making it. It's largely because of you guys. So I have to just thank you very genuinely for doing all this.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure.
Yeah. The comic's been a consistent source of entertainment for us as well. So
It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I will inform everyone again that we will be taking a 2-week hiatus from the podcast to collect ourselves, figure out what we want, where we want to go with this. And I, for one, certainly hope we'll be back at the end of those 2 weeks, but we may not, and we will keep updated. Thank you very much to our special guest, Jason Ball 34. Thank you for the fantastic 100 days of comics that we have reviewed so far.
That's wild.
If anybody else wants to say anything, now is...
Don't say
any
anything.
last words.
You're more than halfway there.
To what? To
Oh,
the
yeah.
end of the year?
End of the year, yeah.
He is.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Wait, are you?
No, it's
Are you?
it's not July
yeah,
1st
sorry.
yet.
Yeah.
Under
Pretty
halfway
close.
there.
Not yet.
Was
that
I
that
have,
our-
well, actually, I have made it halfway because I've produced up to June 30th. So yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, 100
Ah,
days. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody,
Yep,
for
thank
joining
you.
us. Goodbye, everybody.
Farewell.
Bye.
Farewell.